At the Fabrio Stratum Egghead, after controlling the Seraphim, Straw Hats have escaped from the main area. However, the CP0 members who are still there are blocked by a figure. They are unable to understand that why a government weapon that is meant to be with Marines is doing the opposite and blocking their way. One of the Marine officers warns the figure that he will pay for hurting their men. The Marine officer aims for a blast at the giant man, but the man uses a unique power and creates a bubble to defuse the blast. The Marines are in shock seeing the ability of the giant man. One of the Marine officers exclaims that it is actually a bubble shield, which is the ultimate defense invented by Vegapunk. The officer realizes that the giant man must be a Mark III pacifista, and it is more advanced than the prototypes used in the Summit War. The only tenable solution they can think of is to surrender and proceed to Factory B, because the pacifista is so powerful that the resistance is futile. The giant man is basically a PX-3, a Navy science group weapon, a pacifista that generates bubble shield from its palm, capable of dodging any attack. One Marine officer tells them that they should do exactly what it says if they don't want to die. As the Marine officers start heading towards the factory, one question that is still there is who is controlling the pacifista, as a pacifista cannot act on its own. The pacifista then initiates capture, as ordered from above. The scene shifts to factory where some scientists are telling a person to not move, as it will aggravate his wounds. The person inside the factory is actually Sentomaru, who managed to survive, and is the one controlling the pacifista. Sentomaru exclaims that the Frontier Dome is sealed, and he cannot even get a hold of Vegapunk. The scientists of Vegapunk are trying their best to treat his wounds. Sentomaru remembers Luffy's promise that he will get Vegapunk off the island no matter what. But this is not something that is making Sentomaru worried. The main problem are the constant phone rings, which are unsettling. The Marines are trying to reach him unaware of the fact that he has already rebelled. Sentomaru exclaims that he is in a situation where he can do whatever comes to his mind. Sentomaru, not caring about being a rebel, deploys 50 Mark III units. Sentomaru tells the pacifistas that Luffy will be taking Vegapunk with him on his ship. Meanwhile, the pacifistas must make sure that they set to sail safely. Sentomaru feels that the Navy might have something up their sleeves, and therefore, he orders the pacifistas to guard the coast. The Marine officers are unable to get out from the constant attacks while the pacifistas follow Sentomaru's orders and are walking in lane towards the coast. Sentomaru feels that something is going to go down on the island soon. But no matter what happens, he orders the pacifistas to ensure that Vegapunk must escape. At the Lab Stratum Egghead, the Straw Hats and Vegapunk clones are searching for Vegapunk, but are unable to find him even in the lab. Luffy is huffing and exclaims that he ran all over the place looking for Vegapunk. Chopper asks him that has he broken his hover boots from all that running around. Luffy tells him not to snitch as he cannot pay them back. Chopper asks that where did Vegapunk go, and he could not even find Bonnie either. To which Shaka replies that Bonnie is over there. Shaka tells them that everything in the lab is transmitted to the monitor, and he can see Bonnie from the monitor. Luffy rages hearing this and exclaims that he could have told him about this sooner. Brook finds the place marvelous and futuristic, while Zoro exclaims that he thought they were leaving. Brook questions that where is Vegapunk Stella's body? Did something happen? Shaka exclaims that they have a couple of issues that he is going to tell them, but they need to listen to it calmly. The first issue is that the Stella has disappeared, and second that they have lost the control of the Frontier Dome. The Straw Hat pirates are surprised to see Atlas completely fine. Shaka further says that as of now, they are basically trapped on the lab stratum, and if they try to leave, the lasers would fry them. Everyone is shocked to hear this, especially Usopp and Chopper. Shaka tells them to maintain silence and then continues. He tells them that the dome is really a secondary concern when they consider their main passenger is missing, and they should prioritize finding Dr. Vegapunk Stella first. And in the meantime, he will figure out a way to repair the dome. Frankie questions him that how are they going to find him when he is not showing up on any of their monitors. Shaka, who is handling the monitors, tells them that the monitors do display the entire lab, But the Seraphim rampage that happened some time back must have incapacitated some of the monitors, or maybe the shock waves changed their positions. Shaka orders the workers and satellites to go and search for Vegapunk, as he might have passed out in a blind spot. Shaka receives a signal from Pythagoras, who tells him that he has searched the entire third floor of Sea Tower, but has found no one. Shaka tells him to search the next tower. Nami, too, marches forward to search Vegapunk, with her real motive being finding treasure. Brooke, too, joins her. Stussy also decides to look around as she is worried for Vegapunk, while Sanji tells her to let him join as well. Zoro exclaims that he should also lend a hand, and confirms that they are looking for a geezer with a sawed-off head, right? But as he is about to leave, Sanji holds him from back and tells him that he is going to find someone, but who is going to find him when he would be done? Chopper and Robin, too, tells him to stay there. Zoro and Luffy sits on a couch with Lucci and Kaku asleep before them on the ground. Zoro exclaims it is such a pain to search the whole laboratory, but then thinks that the members are enough in number and they must be fine. Zoro then asks Luffy that how much he ran because he seems extremely exhausted. Luffy, who is huffing continuously, exclaims that though he is always ready for running around, but today all his energy was wasted on running too much to find Vegapunk. He further says that he cannot believe they dumped into these CP0 agents again. Luffy exclaims that this sight takes him back to Water 7, and he wonders how Frankie's big brother, Ice Boss, is doing. The scene shifts to lab interior, paw room where Kuma's memories are stored in a bubble. Despite Vegapunk's warning, Bonnie touches the bubble and reaches into a past memory of Kuma. She sees a man sobbing at a distance from her. She reaches a little near to the man and asks him that what has happened. The man is crying hard. Bonnie recognizes that the man is her dad, Kuma. At that moment, some people appear and start to attack Kuma while he cries for help, saying that he cannot bear the pain anymore. The men continuously beat him, saying that if he escapes, then the rest of them will be killed. Kuma, however, does not want to go back and is sobbing continuously. Bonnie runs towards her dad but is unable to get any closer. Kuma cries out, "Just kill me instead. If I go back, I will die anyway." Bonnie's eyes are full of tears, seeing her dad in such condition. The men continuously kick and beat Kuma, while Bonnie yells at them to stop it. Kuma's painful voice echoes throughout the area, exclaiming that it hurt. He is sorry. Somebody please help. But the men do not stop. Bonnie is unable to handle such an amount of pain and pleads them to stop it. After some moments, she is thrown out of the bubble in the paw room. She is breathing roughly. Meanwhile, Kuma, who is still trying to climb the red line, is attacked by the Marines. Bonnie is sitting before the bubble and is crying hard, exclaiming that she cannot take so much pain and that her resolve was not strong enough. But she reminds herself that if she stays ignorant, she will never be able to understand what happened with her dad. She once again gathers courage and is about to touch the bubble. Meanwhile, Pythagoras, who is searching for Vegapunk, reaches the place where the first Seraphim was born and exclaims that the Seraphim totaled the place, even though they were born there. After a thorough search, Pythagoras still is unable to find anyone there. Suddenly, he hears a strange sound and pauses, seeing a blast. The scene shifts to Wee News Balloon, where a bird flies in to give an insane news to Morgan. Morgan receives the news that the world government intends to assassinate the beloved Dr. Vegapunk, who is the world's greatest genius. Morgan exclaims that if it happens, it will be like the history repeating itself, like something similar happened to O'Hara. Morgan exclaims that the world government is highly mistaken this time. She exclaims that a news about the good doctor is far too popular to fly, as he is loved as the man that develops energy to light up towns over the world. Morgan then exclaims that one main figure also happens to be on the scene. He decides to write an article about the events unfolding at Egghead and make the headline of the event, Navy Skirmish at Egghead, Emperor Straw Hat Luffy takes Vegapunk hostage. Morgan is sure that the government will appreciate that spin. Her workers consider the news to be outrageous. However, Vivi, who is sitting on a couch listening to this, exclaims that Luffy would never do something like that, and she calls Morgan's economic journal a rag. At that moment, king of evil Black Drum, Wapol tells her to keep her voice down, as there can be spies of the world government anywhere. Morgan replies to Vivi, "Look who is saying," the girl who was bawling her eyes a day before. Morgan tells her to not look down on him or interfere in his job as he knows his work well. His words can shake the world. Besides, news is not about fiction or fact. It is about entertainment. This shows how information flies. I've noticed that many of you are simply watching my videos without subscribing. I kindly request you to consider subscribing to my channel, as your support motivates me to keep creating more content.